Morning, Jim. Good morning, Simon.
Good morning.
I've got to agree with Danny. I think it is complacency. It's got to be. The only two players that are doing anything of pride in that shirt is Harvey Elliott and Luis Diaz. Ironically, the only two players at this moment in time that are trying to establish themselves in the first 11. Now, the others, they know they're going to play because they know there is nobody to come in that will do the job. Now, this is the issue. This stems right back to whether the funds were available, the players were available, whatever, in the summer. The fact of the matter is, this is what we've got right now. And how many times can you be asked to reinvent an aging squad over 3 or 4 seasons? Last season, we've involved to the last minute of every single game we played in for all 4 possible trophies.
Yes.
The Charity Shield, I thought, nice one. We beat City 3-1. This is signs of things to come. Nunes scored. Ireland didn't. Here we go. And they've not been at it at all. Forget Bournemouth.
Yeah.
At all in every game. And it's worrying, Jim, to how far they've actually gone backwards.
I mean, Mark, what do you think about what Carragher said? Liverpool massively got the transfer ideas in the summer wrong.
I don't necessarily think it was wrong. I think they left it too late. Whether that was they were waiting too long. I know they wanted Tuchemeni, who joined Real Madrid. I think he was the first choice. When that didn't happen, in my opinion, they should have moved heaven and earth to get Bellingham or Barella or any of the other so-called targets. There were players they could have strengthened with, and I just think it was left too late. And now, I mean, I love James Milner, Jim, but he shouldn't be relied upon as much as what he is at the moment. And it's scary to think that the teams that have actually run rings around us place.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, Mark, listen, thank you for your call. We're going to go to Dom. Dom's been waiting. Good morning to you. What do you want to say, Dom?
Morning, gents. It's very similar to what the other guys just said. But, Jim, I think you've got it massively wrong here, mate. You're saying about he should come under scrutiny. There's nobody on Merseyside that's going to bring any sort of heat on Jurgen Klopp after what he's done at this football club. I'd see every player go out this door before I'd see him go. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Yeah, but Dom, that's the very point, isn't it? Is he escaping scrutiny?
Jim, just 1 second. 18 months that midfield's needed strengthening for. 18 months. James Milner hardly kicked the ball last season. Harvey Elliott has played about 14 games for the club, I think it is. He's 37 years of age, James Milner. He's got more miles on him than a 1998 Renault Megane. I mean, come on. Yeah, at the end of the day, we've got to start looking to the future. And, you know, all these leaks that in the press, you know, we're saying about links to Bellingham. I mean, that's why we got Arthur Melo, because we're going to get Bellingham next summer. It's an absolute farce. If we don't get in the top 4, do you think Jude Bellingham's going to want to come to Liverpool? There's no chance. He's been let down. Sorry, Jim. He's been let down massively by the recruitment, Jurgen Klopp. He's had to play them two last night and play this high-pressing game with a 37-year-old and a 19-year-old. At the end of the day, Naby Keita, he's been at the club 4 years. He's hardly played 60 games. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, exactly the same.
Okay, Dom. Listen, Simon Dom's beside me. I mean, let's put that to you, Simon. FSG.
But these are Klopp signings. So you can't on one hand say he's been let down and then pick out 2 players that Klopp signed. I also believe, and I've seen quotes attributed to Jurgen Klopp, that he himself didn't push the envelope around central midfield players, believing that he had enough. Now, I don't know.
Simon, it's the recruitment side of it, though, Simon. That's the thing. We're told that we've got a recruitment, a couple of blokes who are doing the recruitment side of things. At the end of the day, look at Thiago's injury record throughout his career. Look at Naby Keita's. Look at Oxlade-Chamberlain's. James Milner's 37. Jordan Henderson. Look at the injuries that them lads.
No, I've just made the same point to Danny Murphy. I've made the same point to Danny Murphy that the questions
I agreed with you,
would be
by
asked
the way.
and answered.
I thought you were spot on.
But it doesn't also. I mean, let's put aside the aberration last night. There were games that Liverpool have been in this season. Everton and a few other games where they haven't been at it, and they're more than good enough to be better than they were in the games they've played, irrespective of whether you think the recruitment's let them down. For the bigger picture of winning things, in the games they've not got outcomes in this season, the personnel they've currently got are good enough to have overcome Crystal Palace, are good enough to have overcome Everton, but they didn't, did they?
Can I just say on that, though, particularly, I agree with what you're saying, but Liverpool play this high line. But let's have it right. If you're playing a high line, you've got to go and put pressure on the ball.
Yeah, when they can't do
James
it.
Milner, Harvey Elliott, they can't go and put pressure on the ball.
Yeah.
So ultimately, balls are just firing over the top of the back four. They ran in behind us last night. In the first minute, he should have scored. He went round the keeper and hit the post.
So, Dom, that's nothing to do with FSG. Why is Klopp not seeing that?
It's nothing to do with FSG, Jim, but that midfield's needed strengthening for 18 months. I honestly think, I mean, we don't get to hear it all, do we? But I honestly think that he probably wanted the lad who went to Real Madrid, most definitely. And I think he wants Jude Bellingham. He's not going to come out and say that in the press. He's not that type of manager. You look at Scott Parker, who was shouting his mouth off in the press a few weeks ago about what he's got and what he's not got. Klopp isn't on that. Klopp's on a different level to that.
Okay,
I'm
Dom,
sure
we
he's
want to
saying
thank
things
you.
behind the scenes.
Many good points, mate. Thanks for the call. We'll finish with Michael before we hit the break. Michael, good morning. What do you want to say?
Morning, lads.
Morning.
I thought Danny Murphy got it absolutely bang on, mate. I think there's just a lack of desire in there somewhere. I watched it last night. I hate singling him out, but Trent, he was strolling back for one of those goals there. The guy's gone past him, played a little 1-2 and popped it in. I mean, had they got a rollicking for that in five-a-side? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what level you play at. You need to play with that level of desire. Klopp's not under scrutiny with regards to the real Liverpool supporters. I heard there was a joker on this morning on the breakfast show saying, he should be sacked and all this. I think he's about your plonker pull there, because that was a proper Manchester accent, and Trevor Sinclair should have well picked up on that one, mate. But with regards to the owners as well, no one classes the owners when we're doing well. I think out of the top six, and Simon, I know you'll have your views on this, out of the so-called top six clubs, I'd say we've got the best owners. From what I'm aware, they don't flaunt the financial fair play rules. Yeah, Jude Bellingham's there, but they're not going to pay over the odds for him like Chelsea tend to do and splash the cash, do you know what I mean, and sack the manager 2 days later. So, yeah, it's a blip, and that's all it is. We've got a few injuries there.
Michael, before we hit the break, how would you describe your level of concern at this time?
Not very concerned at all, because I think we've got the best manager in the world. And he has turned us into mentality monsters. I think it's just a blip. Listen, you can't play at that level to try and sit on the coattails of City. Don't forget, in the last 4 or 5 seasons, no team come closer to City than us.
Okay,
We've
Michael.
been to European Cup finals. We've had a bus tour in Liverpool. Let's not forget all that, guys.
Okay, mate, listen, thank you for the call. I mean, Simon, FSG, I mean, should they, excuse the pun, cop it for anything at this stage?
Not really, no. I mean, there's been an argument for some time about the necessity to be able to supplement Liverpool's midfield, but that's more to do with the quality of player that can open up defences rather than press teams higher up the pitch. Look, the bottom line is that you look at Virgil van Dijk, you look at Gomez, and you look at Trent Alexander-Arnold and say their performances, their manager is writing, his mouth is writing checks that his players aren't cashing right now. He talks about mentality monsters and calls out people like Gabby for making his observations, rightly or wrongly he did so, yet his players aren't the mentality monsters right now that he advances the notion that they are, because it's clear. Look at the goals that were given away last night. Look at the performances of those 3 players. And I get the argument, if you press higher up the pitch and you don't have intensity, then you're going to have this problem. But Virgil van Dijk, Gomez and Trent Alexander-Arnold have been poor defensively for the bulk of this season.
Yeah.
And they are where the issue lies to some extent.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.